you should listen to me. And then the technical person is saying that I provide the technical support, you should listen to me. And of course they fight. Right? So sometimes some things need to be done in how you actually smoothen out the internal processes so that the amount of effort is lower. We're not saying that this is something that salespeople can do on their own. It can also be sometimes the fault of the salesperson themselves, but it's all interrelated. The salesperson needs to do something, other departments need to do something. We need to have a common understanding as in how do we actually support the customer in a reasonable way, right? So that may help to reduce the amount of effort. Of course, there are certain things. So if you are, especially for European companies, the biggest barrier to this is HQ, right? Because HQ tends to be inflexible, tend not to know China really well. When Chinese customers want certain thing, HQ requires 3 to 6 months to say, okay, we can do or we can't do. It's okay if HQ says in 3 months' time we can do. The worst thing is after 3 months, HQ says we can't do it. Right? Those are some of the communication that sometimes the management in China needs to communicate with the management in HQ, in corporate headquarters. Sometimes it's also that the shipping time, the lead time, if you are doing imported products and parts, it can take a long while. Right? So these are some of the things that we may not have instant solution to that, but sometimes it's something that we need to work towards to try to reduce the amount of effort required by the salesperson. So these are some of the things. And for this, we have a little story to tell. We had a customer which is very unfortunate. The customer actually was wanting to plan a business acumen training for the salespeople. Right? Because again, you say that salespeople wanted, customers require salespeople to have business acumen to understand the customer's business. That's one of the key requirements. And it was all planned. The training manager approved it. The sales department has got a budget for it. And then guess what? About less than a month, 3 weeks before the training would start, the managing director for China says, no, we are not doing training. When everything has been booked, all salespeople has been informed, everybody is looking forward to say, okay, let's understand what is customer's business, let's go for the training, and then it's been cut. Right? Part of the reason is because the last year's sales performance was not really that great. But part of the reason is the boss suddenly decided, why should we enable our salespeople to understand so many things? If they understand too much about business acumen, will they also come back and understand our own internal cost structure? And that is bad. And that is what the MD was thinking, and eventually that was cut. And it's not just a missing opportunity. It's not just because the sales team does not have the training and as a result reduces its chances of success. It's also that when it's been promised, everything has been set, notices have been given, and then it's been taken away. Right? And the whole sales thing is going to be demoralized as one part. And two is, what do you think will happen to the sales director? The sales director says, let's go for training. You know, we are having this annual meeting. At the end of the annual meeting, we are doing training. Right? And everybody's excited. And then suddenly there's no more training. What will happen to the sales director? It's not just space. Credibility. 就是它的公信度就有问题。Right? Because salespeople, you are talking about expected payoff. Right? And usually it's a sales director or sales manager who say, I will give you this, right? And you say, I give you this, and you do it. And salespeople will believe that whatever you promise, I get it. Now you made a promise. I'm expecting great. And then now no more. So even though I know that you are a good guy, you're a good sales director, it's MD who is at fault, but it also tells me that whatever you say, the MD can veto, can reject it. So whatever you say may not be final. So if I'm not really that motivated to work for you, because if I want to work for you, I may not get what I want. Right. So these are some things, the bright side and the dark side on on the motive and how you actually motivate salespeople. Questions so far? And the last part is on how do you make the sales team focused and motivated? And this is something that we do for sales managers training as well. So this is what you get for salesman salesman A, B, and C. So in a certain time period, salesman A will visit the customers 191 times. 在一个某个时间段里面 can be a month, can be 3 months, whatever. Certain part of time, salesman A visited customers 191 times, sent out 123 proposals, and closed 34 sales. B visited 78, sent 78, closed 43. C sent 63, proposed 30, closed 25. Who is the best salesperson?
What's the amount of the deal?
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. Just based on this data, who do you think will be the best salesperson? B. Why? Number of who's?
Efficiency. Efficiency. Yes. Or success rate is high.
Success rate is good. Right?
It depends. It depends. I mean, if you take the number of meetings, yes,
Yes.
B is high. But if you take the number of proposals, so you have to consider the total time the guy has spent. So that means we should.
So okay, this guy has got a lot more effort, right? 这人花的那个心思，这个什么更加努力。Okay, what about this? We have now the sales value. So let's talk about sales value.
High B.
Now is B? What about this? Why C?
But C, he can improve a lot if he need more clients.
Now B and C. B and C.
Right. Now,
B and C.
the key thing is not just about who's the salesperson, because it really defines what is the best salesperson. It really depends on how you define it. Right? We'll come to that later. It also is what is the characteristic of each salesperson. What are some of the characteristics of each and every salesperson? So let's look at A. What do you think A is? Experienced or new salesperson?
New.
Why new? What do you think? What do you
A lot
think?
of effort to do non-valuable things.
Yes.
There's a good thing and a bad thing about A. The good thing is A is very hardworking, right?
Yeah.
Visit a lot of people, very hardworking. The bad thing is A does not qualify the customers. Just as long as that person is a human being and still breathing. 然后对方是人，而且并且还在呼吸 ，right？ 还有气息 ，that's customer. So that person go and just visit a lot of people. Hardworking, which is good, but hardworking on the wrong aspect. So that's bad. So the key thing, if you want to deal with A, is to help A how to qualify, which are the customers to go to. Right? So that's the key thing for A. And you can also see that the sales value and gross profit are lower. So maybe A either does not know how to negotiate well, or really go for the customers that really has got smaller budgets. So it's about knowing how to qualify, knowing where to search for the better customers. B, what about B? What are the strengths and weaknesses of B? B, of course, is more experienced than A and know how to qualify. What else is lacking in B? Now, if you look at these two figures, B see 70 customers and propose to 70 customers. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes.
What is wrong?
Propose so much.
Why not?
Yeah. It's not possible that every meeting should be.
Not every customer you need a proposal, right? So again, it's a further down qualifying as well. So it's a deeper qualifying. You have high sales value and lower gross profit. And if you were to match this data with this data, what may happen, again, it really depends on, you need to talk to B and find out what B is doing. What could happen is it because B is trying to please the customers too much? B here is like the salesman A earlier on, being nice, whatever customers want you to do, you just do it, and that sort of characteristics. And as a result, the customer may feel that they have more bargaining power. And from here, you have a lower gross profit. That could be B's problem.
Or maybe this guy is trying to please the management because the management is looking at the number of proposals.
Could be.
It's one possibility.
To give, and yeah, so it may not be, this could all be different permutations, and we can look at from the figures. We try to understand what's going on with the salesperson. Okay. Now C, what is the kind of, how do you describe C as a salesperson? C 是 over 中文叫什么呢？老什么呢？老油条。
老油条。
Sophisticated.
Why 老油条? This is an old and experienced salesperson. Why do you say that? 老江湖. Why that's so? You see, the more experienced you are as a salesperson, you know how to do just enough to meet your targets. Right? So that they know, and they're very good. They don't need to visit a lot of customers. They probably know how to, what's the right amount and who to target. So they're very specific in targeting the right customers. So that's a great part. They don't. Half the customers probably don't even need them to have a proposal. They just propose half, and sometimes even before they propose, they probably know which are the ones that will buy eventually, right? And maybe what's not even here is that there could be other customers who may be buying, but because with this, I can meet targets. So those who are buying but not in an urgent to buy, I put it to next quarter, right? So that my next quarter will be easier. Right? So these are the very experienced 老油条experienced salesperson. So how do you deal with this kind of salesperson? Because from your point of view, they could achieve more, right? But they are not achieving more, so which is a waste. So how do you train this guy? And sometimes dealing with this too is a lot easier. Dealing with this, it's a lot harder because they know what they're doing. They are just not very cooperative, right? So then if you have two axes, 如果我们有两个纬度, one is skills, one is attitude. This two has got low skills, but high attitude, good attitude. This guy is the reverse, high skills, but not so good attitude. Right? So between skills and attitude, which one is easier to change? Skills. You just keep training, skills go up. Attitude is a lot harder. So how do you do this? This is you would like to work with this salesperson, but it's not easy working with this salesperson. This salesperson, when it's there, can guarantee you some level of results for sure. Because it's
Increase his targets.
Okay, increase targets. That's one thing. What else?
I think you need to give him some money motivation.
Okay, you get paid more and more targets and more.
Can work more.
It depends on how you increase the targets. Sometimes, some companies, again, we are not here to argue what is good policy, what is bad policy. Some companies will choose to say that, oh, I'll increase your target. If you don't meet the new target, you get paid less.
Then
If you meet the target, you get paid the same. Right? So some companies do it differently. Again, there are a lot of financial terms, so it may not always be ideal. I mean, we would like to pay the person more, but cost-wise, different companies have different points of view. Right? So we may want to increase targets and pay more. What else?
I think it really depends on the salesman motivation.
You should find the guy. You should find
Does this guy want to be a salesperson, or does this guy want to be a manager? We don't. I mean, there may be other motivations, but we just use two possibility, right? So if this person would like to be a manager, what can you do to try to entice him? Okay, you can train him. Now, you can say that, okay, we are looking for experienced and performing salespeople to be managers. It's the first line. Experienced and performing. So performance is good. So, but we have many, or we have a few experienced and performing salespeople, so we could not promote everyone. But we are looking for that to become managers. So two things we will actually appraise people. We'll have two different KPIs to see whether you or other experienced and performing salespeople can be managers. One is performance. Right? If you want to be manager, that performance needs to be better. That's one part. The other thing is, can you coach other people? Can you impart some of your knowledge and skills and other things to other people? So we put A under C to understudy C. Right? So if you want to be manager, so there's two things we appraise. One is a performance. One is, are you able to lead other people? Are you able to coach other people? Right? If you're not able to coach, then you still be a salesperson. If you're able to coach, then we'll see what kind of training programs, what kind of career development programs can put you through so that you can be a manager in the near future. So that, hopefully that is what they are doing, and they take A and try to coach A, and then you change or modify this person's attitude a little bit, or modify his behavior a little bit, and also solve the problem of A. Right? So that's again, this is just an idea. To do that may not be as easy, but something that we can work towards to. Okay, so that's different advice, different A, B, and C. And in terms of reports, how you monitor salespeople's activities. Now, what is the one thing that salespeople absolutely hate? If you like doing this, you're not a salesperson. What is the one thing that any kind of salesperson absolutely hate to do? Admin. Specifically, which one? Which type of admin?
Paperwork.
What kind? Specifically, what kind? Reports. It's called a CRM. Right. So if you whether it's CRM or you do an Excel sheet, your sales report, salespeople absolutely hate to do that. If you like doing that, you're not a salesperson, right? So it's something that salespeople they have to do, but they don't like to do. So how sometimes we need to strike a balance. We don't really need to have very detailed sales report. We need to have meaningful sales report. What do you mean by meaningful sales report? Sales report in the sense that what we call, if the common report that salespeople tend to give is feels good, we can keep in touch. 感觉良好，可以继续跟进。Right? And what does that tell you? The salespeople will see a customer and says, feels good, we should keep in touch.
I mean, this is a potential customer.
Yeah. What else? Is that a sales report or is that a matchmaking, marriage matchmaking kind of report? 这是销售报告还是相亲报告？感觉良好，可以继续跟进。Right. So it doesn't tell you much. Yes, a potential, but potential in what? Right. What are the interest points? What are the key needs? It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you what. So sometimes as what we want to do for sales report is, we let a salesperson know that no, if your sales cycle is very long, it can be 1, 2, 3 years. Let's just take a view of 6 months, half a year. If you write this thing now and 6 months later you review your own report, does it tell you what to do with this customer? So that's the thing. I mean, forget about what management wants to see. Yes, management wants to have control and monitoring and let to know what salesperson are doing. Because doing too much of CRM demotivates salespeople. We all know that. So how do we strike the right balance? So forget about what management wants. Think about what you want as a salesperson. Right? So if you write something down, and 6 months later you write something down, put it aside. 6 months later you review your own work. Does it tell you what to do, or does it just give you, feels good, should keep in touch and nothing else? Right, so that's a test we will like to let salespeople understand. If you are writing for you 6 months, a year later, can you know what to do with that particular customer? So it's good to meet many customers. It's better to meet unqualified customers We are not saying that salespeople should always make calls in the morning. The old school of managing salespeople. No computer work, no desk work after 10 a.m. or before 4 p.m. No computer work, no desk work. After 10 and before 4, you should either be on the phone or going out. And this is the typical old school type of sales management, right? Every week you need to make X number of calls, which is a lot. You need to make how many visits a day, usually 3 or 4 visits a day, which in China, we know that the traffic conditions is going to be very tough. It doesn't make sense, right? It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Some salespeople, just to do that, end up becoming the salesperson A we saw just now. Not because they want to, but because they got some criteria they need to meet internally. Right? That's not meaningful. We want to say, it's good to meet many customers. You need to make up a certain number of customers before you get a sizable sales. 你要有一定的基数，你才有一定的概率。That's true, right? But it's bad to meet unqualified customers. Why? You waste time, and not only that, you waste resources.
Didn't we say that salesman number A was very unexperienced?
Yeah.
Isn't that then good to have actually the experience to learn what unqualified customers are? Like, I would say salesman A is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's meeting 191 customers a day, or whatever cycle it is.
Sure.
And of course, he doesn't get enough proposals out of this, but after 1 year, he learns actually, okay, no need to meet 191 because I can finally, I can actually know what are my qualified, what are unqualified. But he will never learn this if he doesn't do that in the beginning.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It really depends on how you look at it. I mean, you don't need to wait for 1 year.
No, I mean, the year was just an example, but at least I have to go out there as a sales myself. I have to go out there to make sure I know what unqualified customers are.
So what we're saying is,
and you cannot teach, I believe you cannot teach somebody, oh yeah, don't go there, it's unqualified. You need to learn this by yourself. You need to go have the face-to-face talk. So that's why I think sales A, I would hire.
no, I'm not saying A is bad.
No.
I'm not saying A is bad. A has got its good qualities, right? Now, how do you get A to be at least something like B in a shorter time? Yes, A is very hardworking. It's a lot of people gets rejected a lot, so A is good. So how do you get A to be B in a shorter amount of time without that much pain to A? And knowing China, when you have young employees who's got too much pain and rejection, what happens?
I think A is very motivated and
Yeah, positive customer.
I mean, if you see A like this, will they be around the next quarter? I don't know, because they burn out, they'll be facing too much rejections, and they may not stay for too long. So I'm saying A is bad. It's just that we need to get A to be a little bit like B in a shorter amount of time. If you want to learn how to qualify and all that, yes, there are ways to learn. We're not saying that you learn it gets immediate results. There's certain kind of check sheets and qualifying points which can be done on what would be a good ideal customer. What are some of the characteristics? Are we just looking at budgets alone? They are rich customers, or are we looking at other factors? Right? Typically, we are looking at 3 criteria. One is, do they have money? Number 2 is, do they have the need? Number 3 is, do we have the right relationships, or are they open to talking to us? And that goes into many different criteria. So for A, yes, there are ways to try to get to them to be at least something like B in a shorter amount of time. Now, we are not saying hard work is bad, it's good. It's just a matter of how do we then make sure that they call enough of the right kinds of customers. They may not be at the right kinds of customers immediately, but how do we get them to go to the right kind of customers in a shorter amount of time? Make sense?
Yes, and another factor we should also consider when we compare, because a salesperson A, B, C is what is their salary range? What is their salary? If a salesperson A, you pay him 5,000 a month.
Yeah.
If you pay salesperson C 50,000 a month, I wouldn't say salesperson C is a good one. This is one very important factor.
Sure, of course.
I would hire 10
A
A
one C.
and to fire C because
Sure.
they will have a new column called base salaries.
We'll just put it as reasonable amount. So
Yeah, we have to consider cost
we'll just say that the salaries are reasonable, right? In both for both employees and for employers, right? So and then commensurate with the different experience levels, right? So. Right, so that's what I mean. The thing about if you see too many unqualified customers, it's a matter of time. You may waste a lot of time in meeting the wrong kinds of customers. You may also have resources that are spent because meeting customers takes money and resources, right? So that's a part about qualifying. And part of the sales manager's work is to review sales people, not just how many people they meet, and also how qualified are the people they meet. It's about managing the company's resources on the right kinds of customers. It's good to be responsive. It's bad to be responsive to customers without needs. What do I mean by that? If you're a salesperson up in the north, right, around Beijing, Hebei, those areas, Hongkong areas, sometimes the customers can be really out there, as in really out. 有些就是客户真的是在穷乡僻壤，就他那个厂就叫一个前不着边后不着地。It's just farmland all around and then one plant in the middle. To get there it takes one day. To get back it takes one day. Right? So there are those kind of customers. Now those customers, if you say I want to visit you, they usually will say yes. Guess why? They don't have visitors. They are lonely. They want to talk to someone else, right? And then if especially if it's a plant, they're all guys. There are no ladies there. And then you're a lady salesperson. A lady salesperson call that plant and say, "Can I drop by and have a visit?" And they say, "Please come, please come." When I have a need or not, please come, right? So we're not saying we're not saying that don't go to those customers. They may have a need. You don't know yet, right? You need to make some chances. You always go once and see whether they have needs, right? And but if you were to say, I'm going to have a visit, but in your first meeting you have a long chat, you don't find any needs. You got to think about, should you go and visit a customer again? That customer is going to say, "Please come again. We'd like to see you." Right? But whether they have real needs or not, it's up to you as a salesperson to decide, do they have real needs in the foreseeable future? Right? So they're going to be very nice. You go there, they're going to bring all the coffee, tea, and cookies and all that for you. And if you say, can I come back the next time? They'll say always yes. So that's the kind of customers. But are they? You got to qualify, do they have the right needs? Not just you visit customers not just because they are nice to you. You visit customers because you find that there are potential needs that you can deliver. Well, it's good to be able to sell to qualified customers. It's bad not to try to sell to more customers. Okay, so again, there's always this balance between qualified and the number of customers. And again, yes, I mean, A is great. We need to have more customers. You need to somehow make the first visit first, sometimes, before knowing, does this customer warrant me a second visit? Right? So that's a balance that the salespeople may need to get. You need to be looking at if you're looking at the sales report, what are some of the specific customers' needs? So if it feels good, what does the customer say or do, or the characteristics of that customer makes you feel good? 我也说感觉良好，哪方面？这客户哪方面做的还是说的让你感觉良好，还是他们的一些商务特征让你感觉良好？ So that's one part. Be a bit more specific. Also look for specific next step actions. Okay, so it feels good. We need to keep in touch. When? Why that time? Maybe it feels good because they are investing in a new plant, but that new plant is going to be activated in a year's time. So what we do is we should be in touch 6 months later That's when they are looking at the initial proposal for the new plan. And then we need to send our technical people to talk to their technical people to discuss how should the new plan be designed. Right? They don't have a real need in 6 months' time, but that's a good time to influence their need. Okay, so this will be some specific next step actions of what to do, when to do, why we are doing that. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. It doesn't have to be very detailed. Again, the test is always 6 months later. If you want to read back your own report, whether it's on a piece of paper, on Word, on Excel, or on a CRM, do you understand what should you do? Okay, so let's look for next step actions. Watch out for phrases like feels good, should keep in touch, doesn't tell you anything. 6 months later, it doesn't tell anything. So you got to be a little bit more specific. We don't need to have a very long detailed report. We just need to let the salesperson know what to do next. So that's those are some of the things. And last but not least, something about setting goals for salespeople. Now, let's say last year was a great year. 2016. Let's assuming 2016 was a great year. All salespeople exceeded their sales targets. Great. The boss is very happy. And during this year's sales meeting, the boss says, great, everybody exceeded your sales target last year. You are going to get more bonus. And everybody is happy, everybody clap, right? 去年做好，大家都超标，大家那个奖金要提高，大家开心。Then the boss says, for this year, since you did so well last year, this year, your sales target will be doubled. 大家都做得很好，大家都很牛，都很给力。今年的指标是去年的3倍，你们都可以的，你们行的。Right, you can do it. Right, so what do you think the salesperson is going to feel?
Demotivated.
Demotivated. Immediately, it's like what? Last year was great. This year we just double that. Why salespeople will be demotivated? Because you gave a tough target without explaining why, without giving the right support. So without why, we don't know why we want to do this. We may feel that, oh, we are working harder just to make our bosses richer. 那么措死措活干嘛呢？就是让老板更有钱，对吧？为老板打折。然后这里 they may feel cynical. That's a why part. The other thing is that without the right support, you just double the sales target. Without the right support, people don't see the chances of success. Last year we worked so hard. Yes, we exceeded target, but that's still far away from doubling. So unless there's something to help us to know how we can reach the targets, otherwise, I don't see how I can achieve it. If I don't see the possibility of success, what happens is I just give up. Way before I started, I just give up. So that's the whole picture. So these are some of the things that if you wanted to set challenging goals, these are some of the things that we need to have. If it's a challenging goal, the first thing is, what are some of the challenges? You can set challenging goals, it's not a problem. The key thing is, what are some of the challenges that we need to overcome? Right? And possibly how the sales people, the sales team, and the sales organization, together with the whole company, can give some kind of support to help them to overcome those challenges. So that's about challenging goal. If it's challenging, let them know what the challenge is, how can we deal with the challenges. That's the first step. 2 is, of course, we'll still have time, but the limited by time is not about when we need to finish the goal. It's about when are the milestones. 就不是你这个业绩也好，还是你的目标也好，什么时候要完成，而是你中途有没有一定的一个里程碑，有没有一个回顾。Why? Because by the end of next year, if you miss the goal, it's too late. 1 year is gone. Right? So you may want to have quarterly, monthly review, see are we on track, are we off track, what are the actions we can do? Should we adjust our actions or should we adjust the goals? Right? So that's the thing about time. We need to have milestones. An objective. Why we need to achieve this goal? 我们为什么要完成这个目标 An objective in an easier way is that what is the objective of the goal? 你达到这个目标背后的这个目的是什么 What is the end objective after you achieve this goal? To give an easy understanding. 我 us has got school-going children at home. 家里有那个上学的小朋友。Right. So in Asia, in China, in China, we always want our kids to study hard, right, and get good grades. So if you study hard, you get good grades. Getting good grades is a goal. What is the objective behind good grades? 拿到好成绩背后的那个目的是什么？上道。You go into a good school, right? So you get good grades. The end objective is you get in good school. And if getting to a good school or getting to a good university is a goal, what is the end objective of going to a good university? 上了好学校的那个背后的目的是什么呢？ Get a good job, right? So getting a good job is a goal.
Good salary.
Get a good pay, right? So the end objective, get a good pay. Get a good pay is a goal. What's the end objective?
Get a good
Good
life.
Get a good wife. You must have a son. That's why. So that goes. There's always an end objective. Now, the other thing we need to check is, does it mean when you get a good pay, you get a good wife? Not always. I would say that there's a high probability, 概率很高, but it's not directly related. Right? So it's also to work backwards. Is there a 100% chance of doing A will lead to B, or it's just a matter of probability? So it's just a matter of how you define why we need to reach this goal. There is an end objective of reaching the goal. So if the boss is to say that we need to increase sales by 100%, what will be a good reason? Why do we need to achieve this goal? 如果老板说我们的那个业绩今年要翻一倍，你要为什么呢？为什么一定要翻一倍？背后的理由是什么？ One good possibility is it's because the market is growing by 100%. Right? So if we don't increase by 100%, we will be losing market share. So it's not something that's impossible. That's the rate of growth of the market itself. So given your skills and all that, if we double the sales, we will maintain the current share. If we more than double, we'll increase more share. And increasing more share means more business for us, less business for our competitors. More customers will know us and know less about our competitors. It will make your job easier. Okay, so this is a reason. It's nothing to do with the money. It's got to do with, do you give the salesperson actually an idea of how, why this goal is reasonable, is achievable, it's something that is something that they can relate to. So this is why we want to achieve this goal. And what are some of the action steps? It's not just a goal. What you need to do, right? Can I firstly gain buy-in from everybody, not just a salesperson, but also from other departments as well. We can agree upon maybe we should be more flexible, maybe we should be more responsive to customers' needs, and we need other departments to support salespeople as well. The other thing is what will be the action steps. It's not just, you don't just double your sales target like this. You may need to have different action steps. Maybe we need to do some marketing activities. Maybe we need to have some form of support to help to gain new customers. Maybe we can do something to get our existing customers to buy more from us. Okay, so this is the agreed upon action steps. And required is about the same as end objective. Required means what will happen if you don't reach this goal. 如果达不到这个目标，你有怎么样的一些不良后果？ Okay, so that's what we mean by required. So if we don't double, if the market is growing 100% for this year, and if we don't meet this goal, which means we'll be shrinking, our competitors will grab more customers than us, and in the next year, they may even grab our customers away from us. So that is bad. That's the reason why we need to achieve this goal. So you need to give an idea to let self understand the importance of the goal, the achievability of the goal, what kinds of support you're giving, what are the various action steps. Due to time constraints, we won't go through the detail of the goals, but generally, this is some of the things that we will be looking at, and in the slides which I'll give you the QR code to download, we'll have the steps. We start actually with the end objective, and then why is it required, what kind of challenges we need to face and overcome, when you must achieve it, and what are milestones, how you get agree upon, and what are the steps, and so on. So this will given in the. If this is a bit small, we all have this. Scan this. And key in the code 0314. So scan this, follow this, key in the code 0314, you get a copy of the slides. Make sense?
这是你在是在这里是吗？
对。
哦，03。
对。Great. Questions? Maybe we are a bit over time, but questions?
We talked about there's two attitudes.
Yes.
One's positive and
Negative?
Yeah.
积极的小
Problem solver or problem
Bringer.
breaker. So how do you identify this when you are recruiting?
Oh! Okay, we have a total different session, but generally, we sometimes give, if it's non-sales, we say that, is there a time that the boss gave you something to do, but you don't have the right skills or right support to do it? Okay, you want to check attitude? 这个在那个什么面试的时候可以问，有没有就是老板给你一些任务，然后你觉得你没有足够的技能或者足够的资源来完成 ？Do you have so sometimes the boss gives you something, you don't have the skills or the right resources or support to complete it, and see what they say. Right? And sometimes people say that, oh yeah, my boss do that all the time, that's why I'm looking for a different job. So that's problem, right? So it really depends on how they view it. In sales interviews usually, if you are if you want to find sales, don't just ask about what are the greatest achievements. Ask about what are the biggest failures. The salespeople always don't go to interviews, whether sales or non-sales, will want to put their the best foot forward, the best image to you. 他们会把自己最好的一面就给你看。Right? That's normal interviewee. So for sales, because we know that sales definitely there'll be ups and downs, there'll be rejections, there'll be failures, and all that. So if that person tells only the nice stories but not the bad stories, that is likely to be not as real, not as authentic. Right? It can be what we call the alternate truth in this case. Right? So what we want to know is, can you tell me a time when you did not meet your sales targets? What happened? And we want to see whether they blame it on, I wouldn't say blame it, but blame it totally on external environment. Oh, the market is bad, customers are bad, no one's buying, everybody's dead. Right? So if that's totally external. Or do they say, oh, the market was bad, but I also did not make enough adjustments to look for new customers and new possibilities, so as a result, I didn't meet those targets. So it's a matter of personal responsibility and perhaps maybe some external reasons as well. Right? Also look out for the words, whether it's I or we. If you're doing this in English, it's about I or we. Usually in Chinese, usually not a big problem. 通常会讲我们，通常我。So these are some of the key little nuances. You can, even if you really want to drive in deeper, just not to make sure that you don't use this as the first interview question. Right? You can ask them, tell me about your worst year. 你做的最糟的一年，能不能说一下？ Just say, I mean, we want to see how they deal with failures, how they have personal accountability, how they actually learn from mistakes and setbacks, right? And if they actually bounce back. So just tell me your worst year. Just see what else they can do. If they stop if they give a very short answer, just ask what else. Tell me more. Just let them talk more to you. The key about interviews is that the more details, the more specific they can go, the more likely it's real. 讲的越具体，越有细节，通常是真的。So that's something that.
I have another question regarding the BD and account manager, which kind of sales. So do you usually identify them already in the beginning, or is it do they have specific characters?
Very simple. I mean, if it's BD, usually you ask them. Typically, what do you do in in a typical day? BD usually say, okay, I'll make some calls in the morning and I'll see customers enough, something like that. I'll make calls and doing something like this. The account managers usually will say, I'll target the customers and I'll what do you call, make preparations and visit them. Now, some account managers know that you're looking for BD and they'll tell you, I'll make calls. So you can ask them typically how many calls you get. What are some of the key rejections you get? How do you deal with them? So again, we will deal with the very specific issues about making calls, and anyone who knows a bit about sales, even if you are HR and don't know sales, ask from your sales colleagues, what are some of the typical challenges when you make those cold calls? So make a list, ask people, if you make calls, how many calls you usually make in a typical day or a typical calling day? Because not all sales make calls every day. Some salespeople will make all calls on Monday and see customers on the rest of the week. So on a typical calling day, if this day is scheduled for calling, whether it's a full day, half day, how many calls usually do you make? How do you approach the customer? I mean, what would be the first line to introduce yourself to the customer? What are some of the feedback? What are some of the rejections? How do you do that? Okay, so these are some things, and even if you don't know what is a good answer, you probably can sense that if they can give very clear details, what they did and what are some responses and what else they do, usually it's real. Right? The key here is not about finding the perfect answer, because perfect answers maybe they need more training. Right? So they may just say, I made about 50 calls a day, this is what I said, and I always get rejected, about 90% I get rejected and all that. It's not the ideal situation, but what we, in an interview, we just want to have a sense, where is this person more likely to be in? And then the rest, we can have different training to upskill and hopefully get a better rate. Other questions? Right, this is what we do because it's overtime, it's about 10:38. Some of us may need to go back to whatever we need to do, and some customers may be calling in as we speak. So if you've got time, it's got coffee, it's got croissants and fruits outside, please help yourselves. We can still network, and if you have one-to-one questions you want to ask me, we can still have a chat. If you need to go back to the office, we shall not pull you back. We don't know whether we are going to have another session next month. It's still somewhere in the plans, probably on another sales topic as well. We'll keep everybody informed. We tend to do this about once a month or once in 2 months, around it. Right? And then we have the Chinese sessions usually in the afternoon on different topics and different speakers. Right, so thank you for your time, and hope to see you next time.